candle that's been lit symbolizes a flame of hope and commitment to continue advocating for change and healing. As the stage illuminates the warm glow of candlelight, let us hold in our hearts the stories of strength, perseverance that inspires us to work towards a future free from sexual violence. Now we will hear from two survivors. They're willing to share their stories. And I'd love to introduce the first one. We have the Walking Miracle Warrior. He's a multi-best-selling quote author, investor, spiritual wealth mentor, an award-winning resilience expert. He's super intuitive and music artist. He and his clients have been featured on major media like NBC, Fox, CBS, and ABC. ID Magazine has named him one of the top influential people today on how he overcame and beat the impossible odds. We welcome to the stage Mr. Brenton Tyler Hoffman.
Yeah, I guess there's been some changes. Some of the speakers were supposed to be here. Were not able to make it for whatever reason, so I guess I got pushed up close, so I'm just going to go with this. But I'm Brenton, for you guys that don't know me. I go by the Walking Miracle Warrior. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been... So I want to say thank you for being here tonight. You know, like again, you guys could be anywhere in the world, but you choose to be here tonight and for a great cause. So again, we can give ourselves another round of applause for that. You gotta bear with me, you know, I have a health complication, so I go through day-to-day life where I deal with these flare-ups, and sometimes they're so intense, and I really never know when they're gonna hit me, and it affects my ability to focus and concentrate at times, no matter how much I work on myself. So you guys just gotta bear with me here, I appreciate it, okay? So, but before I share with you guys, I just want to let you know, I went from bedridden, chronically ill, sick and tired to being sick and tired. We're living on Social Security and Section 8 over a decade, and it got so bad that I was dying, living in my car homeless with terrible credit. I couldn't find a place to sleep. It was really quite intense for anybody for that matter. And within 1 year, my life started to change. I met this guy by the name of J.T. Fox, if you ever heard of that man. The world's #1 wealth and business coach, and he helped me get back on track and had success in my life. And I endured a life of so much heartache, filled with hardship after hardship, and still had a heart to keep going no matter what got in the way, is my resilience. And my success has really not been an easy road for those that know me. I was just like you guys. I thought that I was successful and happy when I accomplished great things. However, from the outside, I looked like I had my life together, but from the inside, I was really deteriorating and falling apart. And over time, it really started to show. Until that fateful day, but until we got that, let me just take you way back to where it all began. Can I tell you guys my story?
Yes.
So again, Brenton Tyler Hoffman, the Walking Miracle Warrior. I actually, I was born August 1st, 1980 at 1:25 p.m. in the afternoon on a hot summer day, and I learned that when my mom was pregnant with me, she actually fell staircase railing stomach first. Ouch, right? So when I was born, I came into this world cesarean sick with a rare blood infection and a learning disability. At only 6 months of age, I experienced my first bout of child abuse while I was smacked in the face by my biological father because he couldn't control his rage. I was ripped from my family and taken away from CPS that very day, actually. I didn't walk or talk till almost age 3. My mom and dad divorced when I was about 2, and it was right there I felt unworthy. And because I believed I was not loved by my mom and my dad, I went into this world believing that to be loved, you had to earn love. So I believe people were unloving, so unloving situations showed up for me. In '89, at the age of 9, my mom remarried to this abusive alcoholic, which I actually called the monster. And this man was a wannabe Sylvester Stallone lookalike guy. He used to beat me and my mom and my brother almost every night. It was absolutely horrific. At age 10, unfortunately, I was molested by him. And he told me if I ever said anything, that he would murder me and my entire family. So I went through life ashamed, trapped in my head, silenced with violence, which gave me severe depression and anxiety. I think it would derail anybody. He told me that I was an accident and that I should have never been born. He told me that I was a defective idiot, and I went through life believing this limited belief, so all things defective actually started happening for me. The mind is powerful, let me tell you. I was so used to a life of dysfunction and violence that it showed up often when I wasn't being bullied at home or happening to me at the bus stop or at school to come home and get it all over again. I had very few real friends. To escape the pain, I would sneak out late at like 3 a.m. with my friends, and we would go tagging on walls and trains, and we were not tagging on the walls and trains. We were at the roller rink, or we were riding our rollerblades or skateboard on ramps and on the street. And you guys know the movie Stand By Me? Yeah. Well, that was my life. And when I wasn't being chased, with knives, I literally had guns put in my face, and I reached a point in my life where at a time I actually became unafraid, which was dangerous, because it's important to have fear. And when you become fearless, you do some crazy things. And in high school, my guidance counselor actually told me that I would have to work 3 times harder than the average person because of my learning disability, and that life would not be easy for me. And in 1996, my grandpa suddenly passed away from a brain aneurysm. As I was holding this cold hand in the casket, he wasn't just my grandpa, he was my friend and my father all in one. I was devastated. And because I couldn't take the pain anymore at 17, I actually attempted to take my own life. And thank God my brother was there to intervene and save me. If it wasn't for him, I would be standing here today. In 1997, my life became challenging. I was told I wouldn't graduate. I was getting high and ditching class, and finally I committed myself to turn my life around and graduated with a 3-point GPA when they told me that I wouldn't. My mom ends up with her new boyfriend and eventually gets married again, and this time to a wannabe looking like Fabio looking man. And this man was like flamboyant as you get, let me tell you. But besides all that, so you guys are probably wondering, why am I sharing all this with you, right? Because I know that in your day-to-day lives, you guys have bad days too. See, maybe your days may have not been a little bit worse than mine, maybe not. But the reason why I'm standing on this stage with you right now is because, I've overcome those bad days, and I want to here to help you guys overcome yours as well today. Okay? Now, have you guys ever woken up and thought that today was just going to be a regular and average day? Well, it was Thanksgiving 1998. I woke up to the day excited, and Thanksgiving with my family. I get into my new stepdad's Rolls Royce at the time, and we get in a severe accident. And from that moment that accident happened, I knew my life would never be the same again. Have you guys, that car accident actually was that day for me. See, we were hit with another driver at 75 miles per hour, and before I knew it, my world went black. I was in the hospital, used to have a medical center attached to an IV and a breathing machine. The doctor told me that I would never walk again. You know the actor Christopher Reeve? Very similar injury with him. 12 and a half hours I miraculously walked away. So the doctors actually come to my bedside and they told me that I would never walk again. The doctor said what I did was deemed medically impossible, and I proved them wrong. But you see, as you can see, I'm standing here today in front of you with my bulletproof faith. I didn't just walk, I actually flipped again. I didn't realize at the time, I didn't allow that reality to fully enter my subconscious mind. See, just days before the accident, I was rollerblading and doing backflips, so those memories were already instilled in me. Lying there lifeless, right? I allowed my mind to still work enough to allow me to think and visualize. It's all about gratitude, right? You can't move, but at least I had my mind that allowed me to think and visualize. So instead of accepting my fate as final, I visualized myself doing what I love to do instead. Okay? And instead, so I trusted God that was not done with me yet, but allowed me to be okay with His plan. Miraculously later, 12 hours later, miraculously took a stand. Okay. Once paralyzed like Christopher Reeves, I was able to tap into the Superman that I am. Once I regained my strength, I didn't just walk, I flipped again. On the shoes, on the streets, and my rollerblades on the ramps. I jumped out of an airplane at 12,500 feet with the wind in my face. And I broke through a solid wood board inches thick, and I did it with an arthritic wrist. I also walked on glass. I walked on barefoot across 2,000 degrees on hot coals and unleashed the power within at an event in Los Angeles in 2013. And I did this all by battling chronic Lyme disease. Thinking I was in the clear, if that wasn't enough already, right? I had no idea that I would endure even more hardships along the way. I survived horrific health challenges such as acute gangrenous appendicitis, acute peritonitis, okay? Very serious stuff, okay? Late-stage chronic Lyme disease, and I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder at 33. I almost died twice from hypokalemia, low potassium loss, at a 2.8. I'm a walking miracle, 50 times over. Hey, throughout my life, my friends and mine have died. I've lost the love of my life twice. Countless job loss and relationships gone bad. In addition, I've been ridiculed and betrayed by people that matter most to me. And if that was not enough already, I lost my home of 14 years where I faced the grips of homelessness not once but twice. Where I lived in my car in the freezing cold and homeless, living out my suitcase for nearly 500 days. Do you understand the level of supernatural resilience it takes just to go through that? So during that time, I actually dedicated my time to working on my heart and mind, by paying it forward, by feeding the homeless. Why homeless? And it was sharing my meals with them, we're getting to know their life stories. And in that moment, being homeless, it was that turning point in my life. Okay, it was right there at that moment.